couldn't have drawn up a better Saturday to be in Lincoln, and it's been a long time since we've had one like that.
I'm Jayson Jorgensen. It is time for another edition of HuskerChat as we talk Husker football with Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline. Nebraska coming off that much-needed, huge win last Saturday night over Colorado. Sean, thanks a lot for the time. What a night. What a party for everybody last Saturday night. That was a long time in coming.
You know, Jayson, we've seen so many of these games over the years where Nebraska's been so close or had these big night opportunities and they've blown them. For once, you know, it was the perfect day, weather, opponent, the result on the field, the way the game started. You couldn't have drawn up a better Saturday to be in Lincoln, and it's been a long time since we've had one like that, where it all played out, and the result was Nebraska found itself back into the top 25 poll since coincidentally when Colorado beat them in 2019. So things kind of came full circle, and I believe it was the first time the students have stormed the field since the 1994 Colorado game.
Wow, that is going back. That's going back a ways. Coach Rule this week, he kind of downplayed being ranked, and I get that, but I think that shows progress here, and that certainly shows that the program is on the right track.
Yeah, there's no question. They've had a lot of eyeballs watch them play too. They've been on Fox and NBC. So there's been a lot of people that have seen Nebraska. And I think particularly the Colorado game, that was the game of the night in a lot of respects, going against the Tennessee game on ABC. So a lot of people tuned in and watched Nebraska. They've seen Nebraska. I think the way their defense has played and then the way Dylan Raiola has played as a true freshman, those are the two things that have given this team a lot of respect. Their defense can stop about anybody. They've proven that 2 weeks in a row now. And Dylan Raiola manages a great game. He has no turnovers through the first 2 weeks compared to a year ago. Jeff Sims had 7 turnovers at the quarterback position for Nebraska. Makes a world of a difference when you play defense like Nebraska is doing to go with no turnovers from the quarterback position.
We're talking with Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline as we take a look back at the big Nebraska win against Colorado. Sean, what'd you make of the second half? It was marred by penalties. Do you think the Huskers maybe let off the gas a little bit? I know there were some folks, they're bloodthirsty. They wanted Nebraska to put up a big number on the Buffaloes.
Yeah, it was 28-10, and it could easily have been 42-10 for Nebraska, where they could have put in at least 2 more touchdowns. And I think it's honestly the perfect recipe for Matt Rule now to get ready for Northern Iowa. They showed what they could be, but they didn't finish it. And now they'll have another opportunity to get better this week. But on some of the bigger plays in the second half, they were all taken back by penalties. And look, you don't have to like the penalties, but there were penalties committed by Nebraska. Ben Scott on the Ramir Johnson long run clearly held his opponent, and that took away a long touchdown. And we had 3 of the Ja'Cory Barney runs called back because of penalties. So those are things on the perimeter. They've really challenged the receivers this week to step up their blocking on the edge and the perimeter.
About the kicking game, too. I mean, there's going to be some close games coming here. That's got to be something that's got to be sorted out.
Yeah, I think for Nebraska, you talk about this game is one thing in terms of the point spread, but the next 9 games, the final 9, you're going to see a lot of weeks where it's 3 to 7 points every week and a blocked punt, a missed 32-yard field goal. Those things could be the difference for Nebraska in a lot of games like that. And they've got to get that ironed out. And is it a snapping issue? Is it a mental issue from the kicking position? And even the kickoff return, was that an issue with where the ball was placed on the kickoff, or was it an issue with the coverage and outrunning your lanes? So there are little details that really matter when you talk about trying to be a 6-7 win team to maybe getting up to that 8-9 plus win mark.
All right, let's talk about this week. Northern Iowa, they have been a good program at their level for a while. They come in 2-0, but this is certainly a money game for them. It seems to me this is a game where Nebraska just wants to continue to try to get sharp before that big home game's coming up against Illinois.
Yeah, Northern Iowa's 2-0. They have played lesser opponents. St. Thomas, who was once a Division II program, now up in the D1 at AA ranks in Valparaiso. They've dominated in both games. They've run for over 300 yards a game, which should get your attention. It's going to be kind of a nice test to get ready for what the Big Ten is going to be more like in terms of the physical style that Northern Iowa wants to play at. They're not much of a passing team as far as what they do. But yeah, you hope that this can be a game where Nebraska does what they need to do, and you can get a lot of players in this game. We saw 107 play against UTEP. In a perfect world, Nebraska could do that again. There is no official line out there, but I've seen some out there where Nebraska is roughly about a 30 to 31 point favorite going into this game on Saturday.
Makes sense. We'll see if they can cover. Sean, as always, we appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Jason.